What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Ernie Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so today's video, we are going to be talking about Immortal Hulk number 34 by Al Ewing and Butch Guice, and the Immortal She-Hulk one-shot by Al Ewing and John Davis Hunt. And in this video, we are going to learn exactly how far back the leader's plan to dismantle the Immortal Hulk has been going on, and we're also going to learn exactly how far he's willing to go to achieve his goals, and more importantly, how the Immortal She-Hulk discovered a disturbing truth about the leader and the Green Door that she can't even warn Bruce about because she doesn't remember. We're going to talk about all that and more right now, but first, wash your damn hands and let's hit that intro.
Word to wise, grass only greener when it's fertilized. Gave them truth in these songs, they prefer to lies. Destiny beautiful, adrift in her purple eyes. You can't see me, you Stevie, wondering how I reach more evolutions than Evie and make it look easy.
Before we get started, if you want to see more awesome comic book videos like this one, it only takes 2 clicks to become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers. Click. To talk about this, there's going to be a lot of jumping back and forth, but I'm going to try and tell you this in a way that's coherent enough, because really to understand everything they're telling you in this issue of Immortal Hulk number 34, you kind of really have to have been following the leader ever since his first appearance in Tales to Astonish number 62, and that's exactly where this all starts. It takes us all the way back to his beginnings, reminding us of the radioactive storage accident where gamma irradiated material was incorrectly stored, and in a 1,000,000-to-1 freak accident, Samuel Stearns happened to be walking by as the explosion occurred. He technically died that day, and he saw something that has been plaguing the gamma mutates of the Marvel Comics universe ever since Immortal Hulk began: the Green Door. Only then, Samuel wasn't smart enough to know or even comprehend what it all meant, something that would soon change. The leader, for all his intelligence, would make you think Sam was a bright guy before the accident. He wasn't. He was an average Joe, probably with below average intelligence. His brother Philip, however, was the smart one in the family, a physicist by trade, and Sam became obsessed with outsmarting him after his accident. His cranium enlarged, and with it his brain, and as it grew in size, he became exactly that, smarter than his brother. So smart, in fact, that he was smarter than anyone really. And now that he's the smartest man on the planet, he became obsessed with a new quest, learning more about that pesky Green Door. But in his quest, he realized he wasn't the only gamma mutate on Earth. There was the Hulk. They became intertwined, and even Samuel admitted to himself that initially they could have been allies. This is an allusion to Tales to Astonish number 72, where the Hulk and leader became temporary allies when Hulk, with a bullet lodged in his skull, needed leader to help him remove it while they were trapped inside a cave surrounded by the US military. And in the process, Stearns even enhanced Hulk's strength using a gamma energy shower. But regardless, Hulk was the key to all he needed, and he would obtain that key at any cost. And he eventually paid those costs, dating back to Tales to Astonish number 73, where Leader, thanks to an assist by the Hulk, got his hands on the Ultimate Machine, a device of Uatu the Watchers that contains everything Uatu had ever seen, essentially the knowledge of all things in the universe. Stearns doesn't remember this part exactly, but Uatu planted a terrifying image within the device that if anyone saw it, it would cause them to die. And so Sam Stearns did. And this would be the second time that Samuel Stearns died, finding himself not just staring at the Green Door, but this time on the other side of it in the below place. What's worse is that when he went there, he remembered little else. One of his humanoid machines was able to revive him and bring him back to life, showering his body in gamma energy. But the results in his schemes typically led to his death, whether it was at the Hulk's hands or Iron Man's or anyone else's. But after a time, he lost his abilities. The gamma energy in his body wasted away. This led to Sam no longer having the intelligence he once wielded or the latent mental powers the Watcher's ultimate machine gave him, despite killing him. This also meant he couldn't use anything the leader had created because, as he said himself, the leader was the greatest mind on Earth, but wasn't smart enough to make his inventions user-friendly. But he'd eventually realize in his renewed obsession to get smart, understands that he's done this to himself before. He once reverted to Samuel Stearns in Incredible Hulk number 129, even if it was only temporary, and this was just what he needed to reshape the way the leader thinks. And thanks to Grey Hulk and Leader striking a deal that would see Leader regain his abilities while Grey Hulk remained Hulk full-time rather than only at night, they created a device together that would transfer Rick Jones' gamma energy to the leader, not only giving Stearns his abilities back, but making him even more powerful. It wasn't until his Middletown experiment in Incredible Hulk number 344 where he ignited a gamma bomb on the town that killed well over 5,000 people, but created 5 gamma mutates, one of which was Soul Man, a being who could bring souls back from the afterlife by way of gamma energy. This made Sam have a crisis of faith, something he hasn't ever had in his life. He realized that what he sought wasn't scientific, but something far greater. Unfortunately for him, by the time he realized all this, Hulk had killed not only Soul Man, but him as well. He had no time to wait for his body to be reconstructed in the below place, so he used the green door as a window to take over another body, and he does so. And then he realizes he could manipulate almost anyone from the confines of the below place. He would eventually build himself a body that could actually survive a trip to the below place, one that would be able to remember anything he saw or experienced once down there, unlike before. And now that he can remember, he realized he made a terrible mistake. He remembers everything he sees, the one below all, and the terrors that it wields. He had no friends down there, and ironically, the person he cried to for help was his greatest enemy, Bruce Banner. But eventually, he faced those fears, and in doing so realized the power the one below all could give him. He'd eventually return to life, and over time continue his schemes and planning and experiments, all of which include Intelligentsia and Red Hulk and even more, all up until Thunderbolt Ross turned the tables on Stearns and took his gamma away from him, up until Red Hulk gave him some gamma back, and even getting killed by Punisher to even making a deal with Mephisto himself. All of this was an aid to serve his purposes. Eventually, he turned his sights towards Gammon, the work of Bruce Banner in Hulk Volume 3, number 13, and he would merge himself with the AI, and they would become allies. He'd even discover, like we saw in Immortal Hulk number 25, that in the future it will be a chance for him to rewrite the universe in his image. He would be able to shape all of reality in his image because the universe has been broken, likely due to the destruction caused by the Hulk that we see in the future timeline portions of Al Ewing's run on the Immortal Hulk. We then later learn that not only has he been plotting 800 chess moves ahead, but a part of Banner's origin will haunt him and allow Stearns to manipulate Hulk even more than ever before. Brian Banner, Bruce's father, who's been in the below place thanks to Bruce sending him there when he killed him in the earliest issues of the Immortal Hulk, roughly Immortal Hulk number 4 or 5. I don't remember exactly. Thankfully, the leader was watching, and he plans to use Brian Banner for the next step in his quest to destroy the Hulk and rule everything. But that's not all. Brian Banner is not the only member of the Hulk's family Stearns has been keeping tabs on. He's been keeping tabs on Jennifer Walters as well, a woman who, much like Stearns, has had similar experiences with the Green Door. Her first when she was shot by a mafia hitter, something that led to Bruce having to give her an emergency blood transfusion. This was roughly around the time he had first become the Hulk, and they were supposed to be meeting up so that he could tell her about it. But due to the accident and his gamma irradiated blood entering her veins through a blood transfusion, it snatched her from going to the above place and sent her plummeting to the one below. Her first encounter with the Green Door and the one below all. This ultimately led to her becoming She-Hulk. Stearns wouldn't take a vested interest in Jennifer Walters, however, until she returned from the dead towards the end of Civil War II, when she died at the hands of Thanos. Though at the time, no one realized it, not even Jen. She was sent to the below place again, this time meeting Brian Banner, her uncle. An uncomfortable reunion to be sure, but one that made her realize she cannot die. not permanently. And much like Stearns initially, she never really remembers her time there, but mild little tidbits of it. But she died a third time in the events of the recent Marvel crossover Empire, due to the Kotati tricking her and planting an infiltrator in her corpse. During this time, she'd returned to the Below place, this time meeting Sam Stearns, who is delighted to know she does remember her visits to the Below place, but not all the details. He divulges a taste of his master plan, as villains are often wont to do, but Jennifer is given a warning about her ability to come back from the dead that takes her curse of being a gamma mutate who cannot die from being an inconvenience to a much bigger problem. Something immediately awakens Jennifer as she sleeps in her bed and realizes that she's witnessed something but can't quite put her fingers on it. A terrifying realization that her immortality, for all her pondering over it, it is something that wasn't happening because of herself or even her powers, but because of Samuel Stearns. You see, Jennifer will not remember what has transpired between herself and the leader, because in all this time that we have been spending with the leader throughout Immortal Hulk number 34, what he was essentially explaining to us is what he's about to explain to Jennifer Walters. The power that he has obtained, the knowledge of science and the occult that he has accrued throughout his publication history, has helped him understand the Below place. You see, Jennifer Walters, the She-Hulk, is not immortal. None of the Gamma Mutates are, not even the Immortal Hulk, Bruce Banner. What is truly bringing them back is the Green Door, and Stearns has been allowing them to have the key to it, whether they realized it or not. Something that he has cultivated throughout the years. Right now, only one person in existence can control whether the Green Door is wide open or whether it stays locked closed forever, and that's the leader. And now that he's had his fun, it's time to change the locks on the Green Door. He warns Jennifer that the only reason he let her come back after her death in Empire was because she'd only caused problems for him in the Below place. But if she ever dies again, she's never coming back. And the words have been haunting her ever since. Don't die again. This is something that is big news, and especially if you've been keeping up with the Immortal Hulk, the issues, I think, 35, 36, 37, 38, and 39, 39, which was the most recent release as of the recording of this video. Yeah, this is big news. Basically, the leader has been letting the Gamma Mutates come and go as they please. Anyone who has died, whether it's Hulk, whether it's Doc Savage, whether it is She-Hulk, whether it is Red Harpy, and who knows, I'm gonna go on a limb and say that the Red Hulk probably is not very far behind at all either. But every last single person that has died who is a Gamma Mutate, he has been allowing them to come and go as he pleases to help him with his experiments. I'm gonna go on a limb and say that every single death that has occurred throughout the entirety of the Immortal Hulk's run, I guarantee you has serviced the leader in ways that we have yet to fully see, even now, even as recent as Immortal Hulk number 39, but have definitely helped lead to him gaining all the power that he has and accruing all of the new abilities that we now know that he has. So yeah, like I said in the last video for Immortal Hulk, yes, I was going to talk about how Samuel Stearns, the leader, got to this point, and even a little bit more about She-Hulk, which I've now done. And now that I've done that, the next video, we will definitely be talking about the rest of the Immortal Hulk story arc featuring the leader, and that will be, probably expect that video roughly around the time that Immortal Hulk number 40 drops. I might even do it a little sooner than that, I don't know. We'll just kind of have to play it by ear. We'll see how it all falls down. But anyways, let me know what you think about the Immortal Hulk series and the leader's master plan. Wash your damn hands and sound off in the comments. So hey, you made it to the end of the video. Awesome for you. If you enjoyed this video, and if you made it this far, I don't see how you didn't, do me a favor. Hulk smash that like button. And if you want to see more awesome videos like this one, make sure you click subscribe so you can become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers, and tap that bell so you know when I post up. Also, feel free to go check out my Patreon, where if you chuck in $1, you can get early access to most of my videos up to a week early. And if you have time, make sure you swing by nerd901.com, where you can find more of my content as well as other amazing stuff. Anyways, until next time, I love you 3000 plus ultra!